1700 by Show Clothes Unlimited, the all-day shirt with a hidden zipper in the placket. Now I've gone ahead and added my interface seam to the collars, the cuffs, the plackets, and also to the sleeves. That little strip that you were told to do. Now, if you notice a pin in my fabric, you'll notice that that is an indicator for me that that is the right side of my fabric. So I want to make sure all my right sides are out. And with this particular fabric, unless it's interfaced, I can't tell the difference between the right side and the wrong side. And I'm afraid that when I get done, that I'm going to find out that one side was different. So this way, by marking it, I don't have to worry about it. So you stay stitch the front and back necklines, the scat 3/8 of an inch. I'm on page 7 on step 4. So I have the right side of the right placket. And if you notice, if you can't tell the left and right placket from each other, the right placket is a 1/2 inch wider than the other one. So this is the right placket, and there is a zipper line marked on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that and place it alongside my placket. Now you can measure this if you want to. Use an air-soluble pen or a chalk, or I used pins. And the reason I did this is because I don't trust the air-soluble pen to actually disappear. I've had problems with that before. Have not tried it on this stretch taffeta that I'm using. And the chalk wasn't staying on well. So, yeah, pins will do the job. Now, it also said the instructions also say to press a scant 1/2 inch on the on-notch side. Well, the notches are really just a line on the pattern, so you'll just have to know which side it is. And that's this line right here that I've got. And it doesn't have to stick. It doesn't have to stay put. It just helps later on when you have to work with that. I have a tendency to just go ahead and buy them in quantity at a certain length because I do everything from children's to adults. And this way I always have stuff in line. You have to remember that there is a hem down here. So you want at least 1 inch. And the zipper teeth are going to go right on that marked line. So give me a second while I do that. Now, something to be aware of when you're sewing is this zipper stop. You have the notch there, the little block, but this one also has a piece of plastic beside it. So when I sew, I can't sew right next to the teeth like you normally would expect. I'm going to have to sew over here. So it's just a matter of something to be aware of when you're stitching it. All right, as you can see, I have sewn my zipper onto my placket. And the next step, I've jumped to page 8. Step 9 is to fold the placket in half. I found this was easier to do earlier because then I already have this. I can put this and know that it's equal. So you're going to start with the wrong side of the fabric. Remember I had the pin for the right side? Start with the wrong side of the fabric. And you're going to align the placket top to bottom. And then you will stitch it 1/2 inch, your seam allowance from the back side Okay, so this is the wrong side of the fabric. And as you can see, I have stitched the placket to the shirt. And you notice that that's a finished seam. So now I'm going to turn it to the right side of the fabric. And the instructions say to iron this seam allowance towards the center front. Now the center front is that way. It's away from the side, so it goes that way. The next thing you do is, remember how you ironed it on the half? So now we fold that on the half. And this is where that ironed fold comes into assistance. Because you line that up right over the other stitching that you did, that you just got done doing. Now, I don't normally I don't normally pin like this, but it works better on this particular placket. And just go on down and you fold that 1/2 inch, cover your previous stitching. This is another place that, like with the zipper, if you like the Wonder Tape, I know some people use a glue stick, but the Wonder Tape works here very well. This is the right side of the shirt, the right side of the fabric. Now, if the center placket doesn't lay exactly flat, don't worry about that. You can come back and re-iron it. It's a guide. It's just to help out. If, when you get done, it's real wobbly, then you have something off center. And you need to take this top stitching back out and come back, relay it out, and make sure that it's doing what you want it to do. So here I have finished stitching the placket down to the right hand side of the shirt. And this is what it looks like on the back side. You see the zipper, you see the finished edge, we're good. Now you do the left side. Now, in case somebody hasn't noticed, and you might like to have this tucked away for a little future, the left and right sides of the front are exactly the same. The plackets are not, but the pattern itself is. But we designated them left and right with right side up on fabric to help the consumer, you, know the left and the right side. So once you get comfortable doing this shirt, you can cut that on folded fabric. Just remember to watch for the stretch of the fabric, because taffeta will trip you up on that. Now the left front, yeah, I have that marked wrong. And I'm doing a double check here because there's my right side of my fabric. So that makes this the right side of my fabric. That's another way you can tell. Now this one is done a little differently, because I went ahead and followed the directions and I turned in my 1/2 inch. Did not. This one is not pressed in the middle like the other one was. And that is because this will give you a little bit of wiggle room in case you don't get it folded exactly. And then you can go back and press it and get your crease there. So the first thing I have to do is take my zipper and make sure that I have it the same distance from the bottom as my other one. So we'll turn this back so we can see it. And no, I didn't measure it. So now I have to go do it the hard way. I have to compare side by side. So that should do it. The teeth go away from the raw edge. The zipper tape goes along the raw edge. And I'm going to go stitch this. And when I come back, what I'm going to do while I'm gone is I'm going to stitch this, leave the teeth that way, and take the placket right sides together and sandwich that zipper in between, and I will stitch a 1/2 inch seam allowance here. You notice that the press side is here. I'm not using it right now. And hang on, I'll be right back. This is step 15. This is what the placket looks like after you have sewn it in. There's the placket, there's the zipper. And this is that first line of stitching that it shows. Now we're going to go to the next step, which is turning the placket to the wrong side. So here we go. There's the interfacing. Now we had previously pressed this so that we've got an edge to work with. Now there's 2 ways to do this. If you have fabric that frays, you're going to turn this on roughly the midpoint and take this and actually wrap it to the back side. Stop. This is steps 17 to 19, back side of the placket. Now, what I started to say before was, okay, this is the right side of the placket, of the shirt and the placket, and I turned it over, and then I rolled the placket to the back side, and I tucked the raw edge underneath the previous seam allowance. So this actually encloses the seam allowance. If you have a non-fraying fabric, you can just lay it over the top and do the stitching. But because this is a fabric that will fray, I have to enclose the raw edge, so I just wrap it around. So I pin the tar out of it, and then you can go to the front side and check. Make sure that your pins are all roughly the same distance from that zipper. If one is way out of whack compared to the others, then you've got something rolled not right. And that is why we didn't press the center seam on this one. This allows you to roll it around where you need it. I had trouble down here, so I actually stuck my finger in there and forced it out so that this edge would line up. Now I'm going to go stitch it. This is attaching the princess seams. So I have the right sides up. There's my pin showing me it's the right side, but by now I should know this is the right side of the fabric because of the way my plaque falls. And this is the right side of my side seam. So when you put the right sides together, it looks like it's not going to work. And it will. So I have to turn this around so that I can work with it. Start at the bottom and work your way up to the marker. It could be a notch, it's a line, whatever it is that was indicating that the pattern pieces needed to match up together. Now, some princess seams do not match from the notch up to the corner. This is partially by design. We'll have to check to see which one this is. Just continue. Now, you have what looks like 2 pieces that won't work together. This one curves this way, this one curves this way. So this is, at this point, you have to lift it up a little bit. And start putting the pieces together. And depending upon how stretchy your fabric is, you may or may not end up with this matching completely at the outer edge. You can try easing it. You can go back, make sure that you haven't stretched anything. Go back and find out if you need to ease anything. Now I have to reset this because this isn't perfect, because I stick out just a little bit more. But another way to tell if it's okay is turn your shirt like it would be right side out. And if that excess curves with the armhole, then it's okay to leave it there because you're going to need it when you're sewing. If it sticks out way, or if it doesn't, make the armhole curve correctly, then you want to readjust it. This shows that I've put the side fronts to the fronts. This is the back side. And you notice how I clipped the curves to lay flatter. Now, if you're going to top stitch this, then both of these seams would have been pushed towards the center front. This is what it looks like from the right side. And then the next step is attaching the shoulders. So right side's up, right side's together. You merely match the shoulder seams, pin, and sew.